So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to see you here again.
Assalamualaikum.
Hi, welcome back to our Media workshop. So, some of the participants informed me that our today's session has overlapped with a self-defense course that has been conducted by American Center Tashkent for a long time, so 8 p.m. sharp, which requires their offline participation, and that's why some of them are not able to participate. And for sure, those of you who are missing the class today, you are welcome to attend the class on Thursdays, as we will have two separate groups, and on Tuesday and Thursday, we will have similar sessions. Okay, next thing to do is to clarify the schedule and timing. According to the small poll that we have conducted in the group, you guys have chosen 7 p.m. as the most convenient time for you to participate in this project. So that's why both Tuesday and Thursday sessions will be conducted at 7 p.m. as you have requested. So let's get started. This is week 1, and we are starting our journey throughout the media literacy world today. Well, before starting the learning part, I would like to share you the curriculum of this course. Can you see my screen with the course schedule?
Yes.
Thank you.
So yes.
So our timings will remain at 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays via Zoom. Well, about the workshop and its description, we have discussed previous session, and I'm going to ask you to focus on the tasks that we are required to do each month. So September. In this month, we have topics of introduction to media literacy. That includes media and today's world, media literacy explained, media literacy in Uzbekistan, and at the end of the month, we will have the first lead discussion. That's your very first assignment. So it would be a discussion that would be promoted on Zoom. I will be leading the discussion, I will be posing questions, and you will be taking part in this discussion. That will take place in upcoming sessions. I will inform you about this before the session. October, we have the topic of traditional and social media. In this, we have introduction to social media, advantages and disadvantages of social media, and media as seen traditionally. Then we have the lead discussion too. Third month, we have types of media messages, and you have another lead discussion. Fourth month, you have media and bias, and this month you will start presenting what you have already learned. And your presentation is going to be a multimodal one with more than one channel used for information deliverance. Next, in January, we'll have media and diversity, which will follow with another presentation. And in February, you will have your poster presentations. That's going to be digital posters, and you will have your group discussion. So following this, we will be ready for our final portfolio, which will include your reflections. So what is a reflection? Previous lesson, I was asked lots of questions regarding reflections. So I'm going to explain you what is reflection. Reflection is a free type of writing. And after each session, I asked you to write around 50, 75 words, not more, reflecting on your learning. So we have a session here. You listen to the session, you participate in the activities. Following the session today or tomorrow, but do it no more than 1 or 2 days after the session, you will be noting down important moments, what you have learned today regarding media literacy. And then I recommend you to do it in one Microsoft Office Word file, for example, and at the end, all of your reflections will be collected, and I will explain you, I will teach you how to organize them in a digital portfolio, and you will be submitting your digital portfolio. So every lesson, when we have a session, following the session, you guys will be noting down your important moments, your learnings. There is no specific genre requirements. It's a free writing. You can write as freely as you want. You can organize your writing in bullet points, in paragraphs, as you prefer. But you have to have reflections in order to reflect on your own learning. And after time, your reflections will be a guide for you to represent your learning. So let's start. What is media literacy? We have discussed this question a lot, and we had a Padlet discussion in the first session. You guys have contributed to the discussion with lots of, let's say, deep and beautiful ideas even. Now, in communications, media, a singular medium, are the storage and transmission channels or tools used to store and deliver information or data. It is often referred to as synonymous with mass media. You hear a lot about news media, but also it may refer to a single medium used to communicate any data for any purpose. So this scholarly definition gives you an idea of what media is. So media is a medium for communication. And there is the term multimedia, which is becoming overtly popular, and I'm sure that all of us have used multimedia a lot during our lives. So multimedia is media and content that use a combination of different content forms. So types of media that is used in multimedia is not limited to certain types, but can include texts, audio messages, still images, that can be animations, video, mobile device creations, podcasts, vodcasts, videocasts, so concept maps, and etc. So all of them represent multimedia. Now, so media is basically every form of communication medium. And multimedia is a media that can be seen or heard and can be, of course, received. So what is media literacy then? Media literacy is the ability to assess, access, analyze, evaluate, and communicate a variety of media messages. In simpler terms, media literacy is your ability to create media, to share this media with others, to receive the product made by other media creators, to analyze them, to understand their purposes, make comparisons, and etc. So this is media literacy, ability to use, produce, and analyze media successfully. So this course focuses on young people, as we have announced from the beginning. The reason is, in particular, this age group uses media a lot. I'm sure that all of you have mobile phones, other devices where you can access media, and I'm sure that you spend your, let's say, at least 5 hours on media these days. You watch movies, you listen to music, you browse social networks, which is all media. Now, this course aims to help you to become careful and critical consumers of media messages so you can make more informed choices regarding your health, regarding your purchases. You buy media too these days. Of course, your values, but also it teaches you to become creative producers of media so that you would effectively communicate your ideas and your priorities. Well, media literacy has already become a skill. So now it's a skill that's required from a global citizen in the contemporary world, as it's an important element of our social interaction and the way humanity interacts in this century. Media literacy is an expanded information and communication skill, and it's changing how we inform, how we are informed, and how we communicate. So this is a very critical competency that should be taught at schools. But unfortunately, in Uzbekistan, we do not have media literacy as school in the school curriculum as a separate subject or as a course. With the exceptions of certain trainings and workshops, usually organized by embassies, by, let's say, NGOs, non-profit organizations, we do not really have in Uzbekistan a curriculum for teaching media literacy. But it's very critical, and young people need to be taught regarding media literacy. So information is everywhere in our homes, in the street, in our study processes, in our educational life. And in order to receive and produce information via the media tools, you have to be media literate. So it's one of the challenges of global economy in our times, and media literacy is always an asset that will bring you benefits whatever you do. Either you participate in a social life, either you study at a global university, or you take up a job. Media literacy will always add bonuses to you as a professional. So media literacy has been mostly formed and shaped and defined first by North American countries, namely the United States and Canada. So usually it represents an ability, ability to access, analyze, evaluate, and communicate information. Well, media can be traditionally divided into print and non-print media. We know that print media was widespread a few centuries ago. Print, newspapers, magazines, journals, they were everywhere. But today it's not the case. Digital forms of media are taking the floor very quickly. So medium of media is changing. That's why we usually divide it into print and non-print traditionally. And non-print media that we use a lot these days can be also divided into subcategories, about which we will talk in upcoming slides. So the very critical question, why do we need media literacy? We have scholarly ideas here on the screen, but before I present scholarly ideas, I would like to hear from you guys. Why do we need media literacy? Why do we need to train young people for media literacy? If anyone have ideas, you guys can raise your hands and feel free to speak. Yes, do we have anyone? Any volunteers? Yes, Nazima, please.
I think we need media literacy in order to avoid some negative consequences of media and the reason positive and negative sides of media, and we should be aware of both of them. That's why.
Okay, thank you for sharing your opinion. Your opinion is very valid. Thank you. And anyone else who would like to share their opinions regarding why we need media literacy, why you guys are here spending an hour of your very, I'm sure, very busy day to learn about media literacy? No idea?
May I say?
Sure. Yes, go ahead. Mukhisa, right?
Okay. I think media literacy plays an essential role in everybody in this century because we are surrounded by laptops, computers, and any kind of gadgets like this. And we also need to have to use them and have to evaluate in our life, have to use in our society. So being able to use media literacy and is really important for everybody.
Okay, thank you so much. Nigora, please.
Hello all, good evening.
Good evening.
For me, media literacy is important for what things? As we all know, today's modernized world's diamond is technology, media, and all the jobs are connected with this media. How can I say things? Media items. That's why if we are aware of media literacy, we never face any difficulties finding job, doing some computer things. I think that's why media literacy is important.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your opinion. Thank you. I think we don't have any other volunteers for raising hands, so we will continue. So during such discussions, during the session, don't be shy. That this is the safe place where you can share your opinions. So media literacy, the reason why we need media literacy as, let's say, proposed by scholars is that media messages play role in constructing and influencing reality. So you may think that it's a virtual world, but actually the post that you are sharing on Instagram, the videos that you are creating and then sharing it on YouTube, they can really affect real life. They can affect real people. This is the number one reason why do we need media literacy? Because media literacy is about communicating ideas that will be delivered to someone, and those ideas can shape their thinking, their lives, or change their minds. The next reason why we need media literacy, according to McChesney and Shoemaker and Rees, media producers are subject to a variety of influences and pressures that often serve a limited set of interests and perspectives. Usually, the media we receive has a hidden, let's say, a purpose behind. So if you watch every movie or a video clip or something, you can identify with a critical eye that there is a purpose behind. If you notice, nowadays it's very popular to cast Black people in the roles of white people. We have soap operas going on where royal, let's say, personnel belonging to the British Empire are played by Black people. Or Disney has recently launched a movie about the mermaid where Black woman played the mermaid, and now it has become target for comments in the media. So why did they do this? Why did they cast Black woman in a traditionally white, blue-eyed mermaid role? The reason is they want to communicate the message. They want to communicate that mermaids, fairies, all the beauties do not come from white people. It's universal. It belongs to all human beings. So every media that produces serves something, some purpose behind. And we have to make sure that we are not becoming hunted by the interests of certain groups. That's why it's very important to be media literate. Now, K-12, you guys know that this is a 12 years education that a person goes on at school, right? In our country, it's 11 years mostly. If you study at lyceums or colleges, that will constitute 12 years. But in the US, where they have K-12, the 12 years of formal education, schooling, it's a subject that is taught and assessed in the school curriculum. And media literacy is integrated with the subjects that you can see on the screen. So most of the schools in the US emphasize primarily the study of media issues, critical analysis of media messages, and some schools provide students even opportunities for media production. And it's a great idea to apply it here in Uzbekistan. Let students to discuss their concerns about media and then help them to create media that can be used by others. Now, why we use media in education? One of the reasons why we are conducting this workshop is to educate young people and making media literacy a part of life. So why should we educate people regarding media literacy? and why we should use media in education. Nowadays, traditional classrooms of blackboard and chalk are becoming very, very old style. And even in our country, we already have media supported, technologically equipped classrooms. So when we use media in education, we can integrate technology to match students' learning. We can know how to teach students to use computers. We can know how to use and teach students to computer mediated communication, like email writing, technical support team. Also, we can help them develop technology skills and integrate computers to classroom learning and know how to support the learning needs of people with disabilities, as people with disabilities mostly learn through media, through online lessons, through computer-assisted learning. And of course, it helps to evaluate the effectiveness of instructional game and computer simulations, which is better than traditional learning. So these are the main reasons why we are conducting this workshop and why we are teaching you media literacy. Well, to start with, you should be aware of 5 core concepts of media literacy. So media literacy consists of 5 pillars. The first one being all media messages are constructed. What does it mean? That all the media messages, be it a video, a picture, a movie, that is constructed, produced by someone. And here the key question should be, who created this media? Who created this message? Second core concept is media messages are constructed using a creative language with its own rules. So next time when you watch a very attractive advertisement or a piece of video that really makes you feel in the shoes of this, let's say, content creators, the question to ask is, what creative techniques are used to attract my attention? Third key concept is different people experience the same media messages differently. So the same media message can deliver 2 separate meanings to different people. So when you create a media, the question to ask is, how might people understand this message differently? So you create a media and you intend to deliver some message, but it happens that the message that people get might be different one than you aimed for. Number 4, media have embedded values and point of view. And the question is to ask, what values, lifestyles, points are represented in this message? Am I promoting traditional lifestyle? Am I promoting healthy eating? Am I promoting education? Am I promoting freedom? So you have to make sure that there is a value behind the message that you are creating. Fifth one, most media messages are organized to gain profit and power. You have to be very careful about this pitfall. The media messages, I repeat, are organized to gain profit and power. So you have to always think, why is this media message being sent? Is it advertising something so that I would buy it? Is it making me a believer of a certain, let's say, group? So you have to always ask those 5 questions from yourself when you analyze any type of media. And you have to be aware of those 5 core concepts in media literacy. So those 5 core concepts, when you learn them and apply them successfully, makes you a critical media literate person. 5 core concepts and the 5 questions to ask when you analyze any media. You can screenshot it, you can note it down somewhere, because you will be coming back to those concepts a lot during our session. At any point in our session, if you have a question that you didn't understand some point or you need clarifications, you should not feel shy. You can ask You can raise your hand or you can type your message in the chat box, and throughout the session, I will be addressing your questions. If I'm going too fast, again, you can ask me to slow down and explain certain points in detail, okay? So now, one of the important parts of our workshop is helping you to improve your English language skills for media literacy. Because in order to create media in English, you have to achieve a certain level of advancement in English language. And also, in order to receive a media created in the English language, again, you should have adequate levels of language skills in order to understand and analyze those types of messages. So this is the part with English improvement. I will be providing English improvement part based on the program of Penn State University. So one of the leading universities in the US, situated in Philadelphia, in the first capital of the United States. Now, I will be sharing with you a great video that is prepared and delivered by Penn State University specialists. When the video plays, I ask you guys to take notes, make sure that you get all important points, because those can be very essential, let's say, pieces of information to use in the coming lead discussion. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
Thank you. Lisa is having some problems, I think. Okay, let me share the as well. Just a moment. Okay. Here we start. Now we have a voiceover, so we can watch it. Sure. Okay, everyone is all ears. Let's start. If you have problems with the voice, if you cannot hear the voice, you can address me.
Hello.
No problem.
Before we can talk about media literacy,
Is it audible? Can you guys hear it?
Yes.
Yes.
It's audible. Thank you. Okay, now you can take notes and listen to the video.
we must first understand the concept of media. In this video, we will answer 3 key questions. What is media? Where do we see or hear media messages? And how often do we see or hear media messages? So, what is media? Media is the different channels or ways in which news, entertainment, marketing messages, or other information is spread. In the past, the word media was considered a plural noun. It was plural because it does not just refer to the one way that information is spread. It refers to several different ways. In this case, we would say, what are media? Or media are everywhere, because the verb are follows plural nouns. But instead, we said, what is media? And media is everywhere. Why? Over time, the way the word media is used has changed. Media still means the many different ways in which information is spread, but now it acts like a singular noun. That is why we use the third person singular verb is after media. This is true of other words in English too, such as data or agenda. Both words have a plural meaning but act singular when it comes to grammar. There are many different types of media. The oldest type is print media. This includes newspapers, magazines, and billboards. As technology developed, so did the different types of media. Common types of media moved from radio to television to the internet. Today, millions of people use social media, such as Facebook and Twitter, to spread their ideas and messages. In this course, we will be mostly talking about the mass media. Mass media is media that reaches a large number of people. An example would be if you watch the news on television. Many other people may also be watching that same news program. So this is mass media. Now, on to our second and third questions. Where and how often do we see or hear media messages? To answer these questions, let's look at an example. Meet Juan. Juan wakes up every morning at 7 a.m. As he gets ready for the day, he turns on the TV to watch the morning news. As he drives to work, Juan listens to a radio show which discusses what's new in sports and entertainment. Juan sees billboards for new cars and clothing stores along the highway as he drives to work. When Juan arrives at work, he goes online to check his email. He sees emails from different stores advertising sales. Finally, before starting his workday, Juan checks his Facebook and Instagram accounts, where he sees thoughts and ideas his friends have shared. Juan shows us that on a regular day, in just a short amount of time, people see and hear many messages through various types of media. Think about your own daily routine. How often do you see or hear media messages? What types of media do you see or listen to? So let's review. To answer our first question,
Okay, at this point, we'll be muting the video and we will be discussing. So the first question is, how often do you see or hear media messages? I'm sure you guys do it very often, right? Yes, Nicola, please.
As all things are connected to the IT technologies and media, I think we use it very often. Maybe in our educational way or attending to the courses or for medical care, we rely on media, I think, and it's really often.
So in your life, personally, how often is that? Every hour? Every 15 minutes? Like twice a day?
So far, I haven't calculated the hours of
Approximately, yes.
approximately. I use or I spend my hours maybe 5 or 6 hours a day.
I see. Thank you. And the second question, what types of media do you see or listen to usually? Is that video
May
message,
I
audio
answer?
message, picture? Okay, we have Jalaluddin rising, right? Please, Jalaluddin, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
My answer for the first question is how often do we see or hear media message is I think that it became our part of life, and I think I see that in every hour.
Okay, great. And Mufid,
And
please. Oh, okay, sorry, Jalaluddin, you have the second message to answer, right? So what types of media do you see or listen to?
Oh, that's a tough question, because the mass media is like mixed that when you enter the Facebook or like the Dario and Kunis, that kind of website, you will see billions types of media related to psychology, like medicine, that kind of media. I think the most one is like how can I say, gossip column. I mean the life of famous people, I think.
Okay, all right.
And
Thank you.
and also in the recent times, it's about, like, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, the
Okay,
most
political news.
media.
Sure, news media. That's what we call it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Mufisa, please.
Okay, I think every hour I see any kind of media messages or I hear. I'm a student, and when I go through the street, I see some kind of advertisements along my way. Other than that, when I am in a taxi, I hear the media messages through the radio, and I am active in Telegram, so I have a lot of channels in there. So Telegram is a good way for me to know about the media messages in the my society.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Now we'll be continuing with the video. So let's continue.
Question: what is media? Media is the different channels or ways in which news, entertainment, marketing messages, or other information is spread. To answer our second question, where do we see and hear media messages? Media is everywhere. Finally, to answer our third question, how often do we see and hear media messages? We see and hear media messages constantly through various sources including radio, television, billboards, the internet, and more. With all of the media that surrounds us, it is important that we learn how to understand and analyze the messages being sent. This leads us to the topic of media literacy. Later in the unit, we will define media literacy and explain why it is important.
Okay, now we had a 5 minute with Penn State University English Language Development Program, which helped you to learn important things about English use in media literacy, especially the word media itself, right? I'm sure that now every time when you address media, you will be using it correctly as a plural or a singular noun. So at this point, I'm assigning you the, let's say, assignment that you will be doing every session. So you will be reflecting on what you have learned today. You are going to write 50, 75 words. So this is this big, not a very big piece of writing. You will be noting down important moments. What did you learn? So how are we going to do it? If you prefer bullet points, you guys know what is bullet points, right? You put 1, 2, 3, or you put dots, then you write important moments of your learning. Or you can make it in the form of a paragraph. You can make it in a form of a brainstorming or mind map. So then you will be keeping it somewhere safe. So every time I assign you a reflection, you will be going back to that file and completing your reflections. At the end, when we finish this course, you guys will be submitting your reflections in a portfolio form where I will explain how to make it a digital portfolio, how to make it very vivid and presentable. And then you will be sharing the link with me. And through this workshop, everyone in Uzbekistan will have access to your reflection portfolio, through which they can also learn about media literacy. So we are already creating a content. We are creating a reflection on our media learning. So you are going to be one of the producers of media literacy content for young people. So your learning experience will promote further learning from other young people. Do you guys have questions regarding reflections? Yes, Jalal, then I will show you how to make a portfolio, but this is the task that to be carried out in the last month of our workshop. So for now, you don't have to bother yourself with those ideas. Just keep reflections safe somewhere. At the end, I will show you how to develop a portfolio, how to make it a digital one, how to make it a very presentable one. And after this, you will be sharing the links for the portfolio. Sure, we will have a let's say, masterclass on that as well. So regarding the reflections, everyone understood what reflection is and how do you do it, right? I repeat, reflection is a free writing. It's a form of writing of your preference. It can be in a form of a paragraph, it can be bullet points, or it can be mind map. No, Nazima, you will not send it to me today. You will not send reflections to me. You will be keeping them somewhere in your computer, in your device. So try to do it after every lesson. Don't procrastinate, because at the end, now you have fresh ideas after the session, right? So let's say after 2 days, you will forget what we have discussed in this session. So that's why it's preferred if you do it right after the session. Just make some notes. Today, I learned this and that. Today, I liked this idea, but this idea was a bit not clear for me. And I came to conclusion that media literacy is important for me because this and that. So something like this, a very small piece of writing. You will be keeping it. You will be sending me only the link at the end of the course when you prepare your final portfolio, not now. Okay? Any other questions? So everyone got it, right? Great. So if you have any further questions, you can text your questions in the group. We already have Telegram group, and we have 44 members there, I think. Both groups are there, which is great. So anytime you can guys ask questions, or you can email me if you have important matters to consider. So this is it about our today's session. Next session, we will discuss, as I have told you, the next thing to discuss will be media literacy in Uzbekistan. Media literacy in Uzbekistan, and it will follow lead discussion on your part. I will post discussion questions. You will have 2 main questions to discuss. I will post questions, and you guys will be discussing it in online discussion on Zoom. It's not going to be a very hard task. You will be informed about everything. So I will see you next session. Next session will be on Tuesday. So you guys are Tuesday group who prefer Tuesday, right? On Thursday, it's going to be the same session with a different group. So if someone missed today's class, you can attend on Thursday, but you don't have to attend both days, as that's going to be repetition. So you will be here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Are we clear on that?
Yes, clear. Thank you so
Right.
much.
Thank you. Now
Thank
have a
you.
nice evening ahead. Wish you a wonderful week. I will see you guys next Tuesday at 7 p.m. And don't forget about your reflections. The sooner you do it, the fresher is your memory about our today's session. Because at the end, you will need those reflections. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you also.
Thank you.
Have a